Hello, Julians. We're going to talk about book 7, the Why book, and we're talking about week 1. And we're talking about the question, why can humans see in color? So let's jump straight into this. So we have our question, why can humans see in color? Because not every organism is so lucky, of course. This is something really, really important to think about. Not every organism can see in color. We are very special. We are very, very unique. Okay, so let's go through the text and we'll talk about some of the key ideas and important things you need to know, including the vocabulary. So whenever you see a bolded word, that's one of our vocabulary words that you need to know, okay? Not every organism is so lucky. You wake up, open your eyes. Color, glorious color, glorious, wonderful, something very, very bright. How often do you think that when you wake up? When you pick up a packet of strawberries, the strawberry shines a bright red hue. But a dog can't see that color, nor can a dolphin, nor can a raccoon, because they have monochromatic vision. Everything is one kind of color. But we can see in polychromatic color, multicolored vision. How lucky are we? When you look at a painting or a picture, remember that your eyes and brain are so special that you can see the picture as the artist wanted you to see. Now, let's think about that. I have a little tiny, adorable, wonderful dog. He has more of a grayish green kind of vision. So he has a monochromatic tone of color, a spectrum of light that he can perceive, which is much, much more narrower, whereas we can differentiate and see all of the colors. If you guys take a look right here at this multicolored turtle, which is absolutely beautiful, you can make out and pick out every single color. You can differentiate between the red and the green. You can see the difference in the types of green, the shades of green. For dogs, as an example, that's much more difficult for them to do. Now, what's the main idea? Well, the main idea is that you can see in color. You have polychromatic vision, and lots of organisms have monochromatic vision. So what? Well, we're going to get into that a little bit more, but just think about how amazing that makes us, how amazing it makes humans. You can see things that other animals cannot even see. They cannot detect. Well, so what? Well, if you can detect things that other animals can't, think about through history how that has helped humans to be able to do things that no other organism can do. Of course, we have our brains to thank, but humans have been able to create art that uses color. If we had a monochromatic kind of vision, we might just be stenciling in gray for all we know, but we're not. If you go and look at the Mona Lisa, which is really tiny, by the way, I actually don't even advise it, in Paris, in the Louvre, you will be able to identify the different colors, the tone in skin tone, or the different tones in her skin tone. You can see lots of different things, lots of variation. Very, very important. Now, if we go down the page, we'll get to what is color. Duh! Red is red, pink is pink, blue is blue, and so on and so forth, and not quite. Color comes from light, usually sunlight. It shines a spectrum of light on the surface, and this light bounces off it and gets absorbed by it, depending on the shape of the atoms and depending on different things like that. Depending on the wavelength of the light and how it bounces off the object, that light flies into your eye. Your brain receives the reflection and processes it as a color. So a red apple is only red because your brain perceives it as red inside. It perceives it inside your mind as, oh, this thing is red. For people who are colorblind, certain light, like purple, green, and red, are almost impossible to see or differentiate. One of the key colorblind tests is to see a gray background of little circles and a green number in the middle of it. And it's very, very difficult for people who are colorblind to perceive that number. Now, colors can also seem to alter in color at different times of day and in different contexts, depending on the light. My eyes sometimes reflect a light blue color, but in the dark, of course, it appears slightly darker because there is less light, different wavelengths of light, so it reflects a slightly different hue, a different color. Sometimes people think my eyes are green. depending on the sunlight. And I promise you, if you have dark brown eyes, go and stand in the sunshine and ask somebody to take a picture of your eyes, or ask somebody to tell you what color it is. When you are standing in sunlight, your eye color will be very, very, very different to what you usually perceive in a dark, damp, dusty bathroom mirror. Okay. So key ideas here. What's the main idea? Well, key idea is that if you take a look at this rainbow over here, we have a spectrum of light. Light is not just one color. We sometimes look at sunlight and we think it's white, but of course that is a mix of different colors. We have red, we have orange, we have yellow, green, blue, and a kind of purple color. So when you see a rainbow, you are seeing the spectrum of light as it gets separated by the water droplets in the air. You will take in these different wavelengths of light, and depending on how it enters your eye, how it reflects into your eye, you will see a slightly different color. Okay. Well, so what? Well, this is kind of similar to what we said. We said that it's so important that humans can actually see different colors, but just think about this for a second as well. We are able to perceive so many different colors, not just primary colors, not just purple. We can see and detect shades of these colors. Hence, take a look at the clothes you're wearing right now. Everything has been carefully designed with color in mind. Humans are very artistic as a consequence. So it's so important that we can see everything. However, so what? Number two, there is a problem. We cannot detect all light. We cannot see every wavelength of light in the same way that our ears cannot hear very, 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 very high frequency of sound. Our eyes cannot see some colors. A dog's ears are much more perceptive and much more effective at hearing very high pitches. We can't. Same with light. There are certain lights that you cannot see right now, and other animals can. So we're not perfect. Our vision is spectacular, but it's not perfect. Now, as we move down, we have the delectable berry is red, the orange one means dead. Oh no. So a cat can't see color very well. In fact, they have a limited short-range vision and detect objects next to their face with their whiskers. Their whiskers actually move towards objects like little tiny mice when they're about to eat them. A dog has limited vision too. However, they can see moving animals extremely well because that's what they or their ancestors hunted. Humans are different and see every color imaginable, although not every color. Why? It's quite simple. Nature has a way of warning us about what's inside something and what we can eat. Do you see those frogs? I know. Yummy and scrumptious, right? No, they are poisonous. You will die. You'll definitely die if you eat them or touch them. And your mom would be so mad at you. She'd ground you for a month, but you would already be dead. Bright and bold colors often mean danger. The frog over here is warning everybody. Now let me channel a frog voice. If you eat me, you'll regret it. Instead, fear me and marvel at my fancy colors. That's what frogs sound like. That's how they speak. Humans can see color to recognize and fathom, understand danger. So if you saw the frog, just step back and take a look at it. Just marvel at how fancy and coordinated this lovely animal is. Do not touch it, do not eat it, because it looks like the most poisonous thing in the world. Okay, so just take it easy. Now, what's the main idea here? Well, the main idea here is that we have evolved to have this vision. If you consider the evolutionary track of all animals, we all started as little squelchy bacteria, but we have basically evolved to be able to see all kinds of different things, to know what we can eat, to know what we cannot eat, to know what killed Uncle Fred, to know what my nephew called Mike enjoyed for his breakfast. We need to know the difference between delectable and we're going to die. Okay, so color means a lot. So what? Well, because of this incredible skill that we've evolved to have, we've been able to survive. We've been able to sustain ourselves. We've been able to get enough food. So what? Well, if we didn't have this incredible ability, we would have perished, or even worse, perhaps, we would be living lives not worth living in many, many ways. We would be stumbling around trying to find the food that is safe to eat. Also, we may subsist entirely on a really, really terrible diet that isn't really what you want to eat. So I'm talking about stuff like it might just be wheat all the time. Oh my goodness, just simple bread, cereals. Hang on a minute, this sounds very familiar. Oh my goodness, we already do that. How silly of us. We have these incredible lives. Let's go out and get some berries and some wild mushrooms. Stop eating bread and cereal. Now, finally, we have yuck. It's sour. Have you ever bitten into a young apple? Yuck. Yuck. It's incredibly sour. It's still green. What are you doing? This is insanity. What were you thinking? Fruit changes color as it becomes sweeter, and humans evolved to see the different colors. And since your teeth are perfectly designed to eat fruits and vegetables, and your hands are great for picking them off bushes, trees, or from the ground, your eyes help you to survive by knowing what to gnash, like a monkey. We are the apex predators of fruits and veggies. Congratulations. Nobody is better than humans, or no living organism is better than humans at eating vegetables and berries. We have perfect hands to be able to pick them off the tree or pick them out of the ground, dig up the roots. We can see what we want to eat. You know the difference between a ripe tomato and an unripe tomato. We're just perfect, and we have perfect gnashing teeth to be able to basically crunch up all of that nutrition, get it into our system, and grow and live long lives. So the what is kind of simple. We know what to eat and we know when to eat it. The so what means we are incredibly, incredibly fortunate. We are essentially the perfect living organisms to survive consuming only the things we see around us. And how do we know we can eat it? Because we can see it. So what number two? Well, just imagine if you had to stop eating meat right now because all of those cows jumped over the fence and ran away, and we can't find them because they're hiding in the sewers and they're hiding in the forests. You have all of the evolutionary biological weapons to go out into the forest while looking for the cows and survive on what nature provides. You can dig up truffles like a mountain pig. You can find all kinds of stuff just out there in the wild. Just go and do it. In sum, you guys are able to see so many things. And why can you see them? Well, it's great because you can see color, which means we can be artistic. Color is basically things bouncing off other things and reflecting into your light at a different light spectrum, and your brain can perceive that color. The third point is that very, very colorful organisms often mean poisonous or dangerous, which means you shouldn't pick up that frog and eat it because you will lose. Although I guess the frog would lose as well. And yuck, finally, we are perfectly designed to be able to know what we can eat and when we can eat it, like ripe tomatoes versus unripe tomatoes. Or grapefruits, but I hate grapefruits because I have a chemical thing in my brain, which means I cannot enjoy it, even though some people can. So that is week one from the Why Book. Enjoy.